Yes, sir, you can start now.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'm just having an
Sure.
issue with it. 1 second. Okay. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. So, good evening to everyone. Today, the topic we are discussing is technology in banana cultivation. So, I would like to share with you all my experience of last 8 years in growing banana. It started off as an experiment with around 5-6 acres, and we were able to build it up to around 25 acres in the initial phase. And right now, the latest that we've started, we just started last September, the new crop. So we've planted around 1 lakh plants of banana in one piece of land. So I've gone through various types of technology, methods of cultivating, how to enhance productivity, and it all ultimately boils down to what is the technology you're using. And when we use the word technology, the plant also comes in as part of that technology. The planting method also comes in as part of the technology. Then we move of all the stages in which the activities that you do throughout the year, right up to harvesting. So if we can start off with the plant, it is very important that you select the best tissue culture plants. There are a lot of people supplying tissue culture plants in India, but my experience is that you have to choose your whoever you're buying tissue culture plant from very carefully, because a lot of people say they are doing tissue culture, but they are not taking all the hygienic, the all the aseptic steps that is required to grow uh, uncontaminated plants. So the plant has to be disease free. It has to have particular traits, and that can only happen if you're using the right mother plant. So a lot of companies that are doing tissue culture plants, they are not being very stringent in their quality controls, in their mother plant, choice of mother plant. And I have seen in Bihar, at least all around me, there are a lot of companies dealing in tissue culture plants, which comes under the government subsidy. But through our experience, we have realized all of them do not come up to the standard. So we have right throughout, though the government gives a very lavish subsidy on banana plants, but we've still chosen to pay the full amount and stick to particular companies, like I'm sticking to Jain Irrigation. We get all our plants from them, and it has not failed us till now. So the first choice of technology is, when you buy the tissue culture plant, how good is the company that is supplying the plant? How good is the mother plant? How dedicated is the company in maintaining the purity of the plant? Purity means disease free. It has to be of uniform quality, because when you do banana commercially, the majority of the banana plant should mature at the same time, because when you start supplying banana, you can't be getting your harvesting your banana over months. It has to happen over a few days, so that you have a truckable amount quantity of banana which can be sent. So the first and foremost and the most important part of technology in banana is choice of plants. Once you've passed this test, because see, you'll realize only after 12 months whether your choice was good or not. And so you have to be very, very careful in choosing the plant. The second is, how do you go around planting the banana trees? Like in Bihar, we have the monsoons are quite, matlab, we get around when the peak monsoon starts, we have copious amount of rain, and sometimes it can really uh, act as a detriment to any crop because of waterlogging just during the rain. Suppose if it continuously rains for 15 days, 20 days, or intermittent, let's say after 3 days, 4 days, you have a heavy downpour, then usually water somehow stagnates in the field, and banana cannot stand water, waterlogging. It cannot stand it. because immediately you'll see yellowing of the tree, the plant will start looking unhealthy. So it is very important that you have a well-drained soil. If you don't have a well-drained soil, or if in the rains, in the monsoons, if water is going to collect in your field, even for a day or 2 or 3 days, it affects the banana plant. So initially, when we planted banana plants, we did it on a flat field. We just drew lines, put pegs on the field, demarcated line to line distance, plant to plant distance, and planted it straight away. And in the monsoons, it really became a headache trying to maintain the plants, especially if you have a bunch already. Usually, what happens in Bihar, the bunch is there at least half of its weight during monsoon. So, if little bit of waterlogging takes place, and if there's a even a moderately blowing wind speed, blowing at 15 to 20 kilometers, also 25 kilometers, then you have a lot of banana plants lodging in the field, and that really leads to a lot of loss. So after our initial planting of banana, we this time last year in September when we planted our new plantation, we did it all on a raised bed. And growing banana on raised bed is very fruitful because the banana is 6 inches above the ground, or the whatever water is stagnating in the ground. So it dries up quickly. So the roots get aeration quicker. And when you do a raised bed planting, you have multiple channels in the field which drains away the soil quickly, the field quickly. So if you can plan out that drainage, so in whenever you have excessive rain, uh, the whole channeling should be done in such a way that all the water flows to a particular point and flows out. There's no stagnation. So that is technology number two, which we experimented. We found to really help in the increasing productivity of banana. Then from that, we move on to maintenance of the crop. Now, out here, the technology that we start using is power sprayers, tractor mounted sprayers, the small sprayers with a row spacing of 6 feet, and with because you're making the bed, so 1 feet goes from both sides, so you're left with approximately 4 feet, and it becomes very difficult to take a tractor in that in 4 feet space. So that is one drawback of having a raised bed. So the weed management part you have to do with better weedicides. So you need a power sprayer, or in fact, for weedicide, you'll need a battery operated sprayer, and you have to use a hood in the front so that there's no drift towards the banana plant of weedicide. Because your next management that will occur after choosing the plant, after planting it properly, next is how do you control the weed, as because when the banana is still in a small stage, initial period may the weeds really gives a lot of problem. So we tackled it with using battery operated spray machine, knapsack spray machines with a hood in the front, and it really saved us a lot of money in trying to get rid of the weeds manually. On a large scale, it becomes really impossible and very expensive. Though close to the banana roots, we were compelled to use manual labor only just around the banana. But other than that, we were able to use a knapsack sprayer. You can't use a power sprayer because there's too much drift in a power sprayer. For weedicide, that can be dangerous. After the weeds, that now the new thing you have to take care of is fertigation. So initially, what happens is because when you use micro irrigation, because without micro irrigation, it becomes very difficult for you to control the banana plants, even on a small scale. The initial problem we faced when we used inline drips, because they are at around 18 inches, 16 inches gap. So, and the banana is planted at 5 feet, plant to plant distance. So you have a lot of wastage of water in between. And if you start fertigation early, there's another added problem that while the banana is still growing its roots spreading his roots out. That space between the two banana plants, if we use fertigation early, the fertilizer that uh, through fertigation that you give to the plant is being wasted in the middle. And if you don't control weeds, the growth of weeds are very fast. So what we did was, initially the first 2 months, we used manual labor to fertilize the plant with little bit of hand hoeing right around the plant. Rest we use weedicide to control the weeds. After around 2 months, then we started using fertigation. Now, micro irrigation, the best technology that you can use for banana. The larger the field, more efficiently it works, more you realize how much it is saving you time, and how the input costs are going down, and how productivity is going up. So after 2 months, we start using the fertigation system. Now, fertigation system, this technology is available both in different forms. So no matter what your farm size is, you can enter at the manual level, semi-automatic level, or the automatic level. So I have adopted this automatic level because the farm size was big, and the technology that we used in this, again, we use Jane Irrigation's technology. There are other companies also which you can use. We Because I'd experimented with the automation around in 2019 in my initial banana plants. So in this banana plant last year in September, which we planted on 9th September, we were able to complete the whole system by January, mid-January. And the fertigation system we are using is completely automated, where you have smart filters, you have proper Siemens controller, and the company has come out with a mobile app. So it is very convenient on a large scale. But in my village, there are farmers who are doing it on 2 acres and half acre and 1.5 acre, but they're using the manual system where you use a venturi, you dissolve the fertilizer in a 50-liter tank, you insert the manual pipe in this tank, and through controlled gate valves, you can suck up this fertilizer and it goes into the system, and it is very cheap and very manually, and around 2-3 farmers are doing that with equal effect. Because my plot size is bigger, the number of plants are bigger, I need a completely automated system. Their plot size is small. One farmer is 3 acres, another is 3 farmers together. They have put up 6 acres. Another place, their farmers will put up around 3 acres. They are using micro irrigation because my take is that without micro irrigation, don't even think of doing banana, because you'll have huge labor problems. You'll not be able to do all the um, activities in the village on time, in the banana on time. So micro irrigation is a must, and in Bihar, the government is giving 80% subsidy on micro irrigation. All the states have little bit or the little less or little more subsidy on micro irrigation. So you must make use of it. And the technology we have adopted is completely automated. So in this automated system, what happens? You can make a timetable of which day the irrigation has to take place, which sections the fertilizer has to go, what is the quantity of fertilizer depending upon the number of plants. So you can suppose, let's say you have around 20, 16 valves or 20 valves or 20 sections in your whole plot. You can plan the whole irrigation in such a way that one by one all the sections are irrigated, fertigated, and the cycle comes to a stop when all your sections have been irrigated and fertilized. So this is something that can happen over the whole day. You just punch in the commands. The software has very user-friendly graphics, which is very easy. In my field, one of my laborers who works on my field, who's just done his class 10 only, and he uses the whole system like as if he was a professional. It's that easy to use. So this, I think this is the biggest intervention as far as technology is concerned in banana farming, because it has made everything so easy. And with CCTV cameras put all over the field, it is very easy to monitor the field to make sure things are happening on time, on schedule. So other than after, so we've done the seed, we've done planting, the seed material, the planting technique, how we control weeds. Then how the most important is the fertigation part, which we've covered. So you can do it manually, semi-automatic or automatic. After, when you manage this whole crop and you reach a stage where now you're nearing towards harvesting, insect control, especially the beetle, that the scarring beetle, which is the most dangerous thing that can happen to your banana, because the cosmetic value of the whole thing changes, and you get less price for no matter how good your banana is, but if there's scarring beetle marks on the banana, the rate comes down. So you have to have a very tight schedule of pesticide spray, which has to be very timed, especially at the time of flowering, just before flowering and while it's flowering. Pesticide is required at even intervals, and you have to be very, very careful to monitor this whole thing so that you don't miss the cycle. Because the scarring beetle acts as soon as the seed comes out. Uh, as soon as the seed comes out, the flower when it comes out, at that time the scarring beetle attacks the delicate banana which is under the leaf, and you don't see the result of it. It only the scarring is only observable after the banana has slightly matured, because initially you can't see that mark, but when as soon as the banana starts maturing, that those black and brown lines start appearing on the banana. So I think one of the most important interventions uh, in your whole banana cultivation is at the time of flowering. You have to be very careful. After the banana is flowered, the next important step that you have to be ready for is cutting off the flowers at the end. So after you decide how many hands do you want in a bunch, it's recommended to have 10 to 12 bunch so that you get all A category bananas, the size wise. But in Bihar, we have noticed there's a market for the A grade banana, and there's also a market for the C grade banana. Because the simple logic the customer is using, or at least the poorer customers, they would like more pieces of banana in a kg rather than having 2.5 or 3 bananas in a kg or 4 bananas. They would rather have 10 to 12 bananas in a kg so that everyone in the family can be given one banana. So this is something new that we learned in marketing in Bihar, where we were in talks with Caventers for buying banana. It's a company from Calcutta, and they used to take only the A grade banana and they used to reject all the C grade banana. And what we found out was then that the C grade banana we were able to sell for 10 rupees, 9 to 10 rupees, and the A grade banana was selling for 14 rupees. So we realized that there's a market for both sides of banana. So we changed this whole strategy of keeping only 10 to 12 hands to keeping 16 hands, because overall the weight was increased and overall profit increased. But this is something you have to study your own market and see what type, what grade is more in demand and how much the people are ready to pay for it. But this is something that we learned with our own experience, that both categories of banana, and when we total up the both categories, then we found out that there was more money to be made in a larger bunch than only having 12 bunches, which was only A grade, which only the premium market was buying it. So once you decide how many hands you want, then you have to cut the flower at the bottom, leaving at least 4 inches at the bottom and leaving 1 or 2 fingers of banana on that hand, so that they act as, because when you cut the flower at the bottom, the banana starts drying and it may start rotting from underneath. So that's why you leave a margin. So by the time your banana is matured, this rotting of the stem of the banana doesn't reach to the first hand or damages the second hand. The next thing that is very important is tying the banana. So one technique is when your whole bunch is out and you cut the flower, then you tie the tip of that bunch and tie it to the stem of the banana. So the because as the banana matures, it starts going away from the tree. So the more the bunch is away from the tree, more there's a leverage for the banana tree to bend or fall in strong winds or in a storm. So if you tie the banana, the edge of the bunch towards the tree, so it center of gravity is pulled more towards the center, so you don't have the banana toppling over or lodging in the field. Then you need to give support to the stem. So depending on how good your farmer is, what is your average bunch size? What we've realized is when the bunch size starts going over 37 kg, tying it with a nylon strap, the cotton strapping strap, usually doesn't help because we have this strap snapping in between because of the wind and the weight. So what we are doing this season, though it's slightly more expensive, but then you're getting more weight in the bunch. We are using a combination of bamboo sticks and nylon straps. So this is the first season we'll be using. Let's see what the economics of it comes. But we experimented this with a small farmer of around 1.5 acre 2 years back. His average bunch size had reached 40 kg, which was really unbelievable. And that farmer had the guts to buy so many bamboos for his field, and he used those bamboos. And I think we measured a lot, we weighed a lot of bunches, which were 62 and 61 kgs in weight, which was really unbelievable. So if the banana bunch crosses 40, 42 kg, I don't think it will be able to stand on its own without support. So that is another thing you have to look after. I know that won't come under technology, but this will be farming practices. After when the banana uh, when you cut the flower at that time, you can use polythene bags, which are specially made for banana bunch. That helps in keeping the banana spotless. And that's another investment you can make. There are many grades of this poly bags, but some are made specially for banana. They have holes, and you can tie them on one side. This is something that you must use, if not on large scale, at least try it out on some portion and see what difference it will make. So it'll give you the confidence to invest in this technology in the future. Uh, After harvesting, the new technology that we used was ripening chamber. So we realized that if you were selling your green banana for around 14 to 15 rupees a kg, if you ripen them and sell them in the local market, you can fetch up to 23 to 24 rupees per kg. This season, Jalgaon was selling banana at 20, 25 rupees, the green banana. So banana prices vary a lot depending upon scarcity, which region of India has faced a storm or which region the crop was destroyed. All these govern the price band of banana, but on an average, we take on for calculation 14 to 15 rupees. And if we put them in a ripening chamber and ripen it, if you invest in a ripening chamber, this is a technology which can increase your profit by at least nothing less than 6.5 rupees per kg. So that's a lot of. So let's say a good farmer, if he's getting an average bun size of 30, 35 kg, he would be making around 2,25,000 or 2,50,000 as profit. And if you were to ripen your banana and sell it, that is value addition, you can make a profit of up to 3.5 lakh rupees an acre. So that's a lot of difference. And if you do it on a large scale, you can see how much it multiplies to. And the last topic I would like to touch was how you harvest the banana. See, harvesting banana is a very delicate affair. The more gentle you are with the bunch, how many times that bunch touches the ground, it's very important. If you can keep that to a minimum, the more number of times the bunch touches the ground, the more damaged, more scarred it will get. And that scar will only show up on ripening. So when the banana turns yellow, then you'll have these black scratches, black marks appearing on the banana, which decreases its value in the premium market. So handling of banana, washing it, making sure the milk of the banana doesn't trickle down onto the banana fingers, because that leaves a black mark. You won't see it immediately, but when you ripen the banana, or when the banana ripens on its own also, you'll have this blemished banana, which you'll have difficulty in selling in the market, where all the other bananas are absolute perfect. So cutting and handling of banana, using a foam on the shoulder of the laborer, making sure the bunch goes straight into the water, or it's hung and cut, and the hands fall into water where you wash clean and it goes straight into the carton or whatever your packing material is. So the less the number of times you have to pick up the bunch or hand and put it back into a crate or a cardboard, your quality is directly proportional to the number of movements you make with the banana. It's a very tricky thing. It requires very meticulous planning. It requires you to be very vigilant. It requires you to train the laborers to think like that. So they have to have this in them, that if I bang the bunch down, if I scratch it against something, if I rub it against something, even if I bounce it on my shoulder a little too much, all that affects the quality of the banana. So, right from planting to harvesting, all these interventions are very important. And depending upon how much you can invest in your crop or in its post harvest management, the quality of the banana will directly affect the price of the banana. So this is very important. The more nearer to a metropolitan market you are, the more quality conscious the customer is. The more you are in the rural area, less conscious is the person buying the kela of the banana, because maybe around a village, little scarring of the banana or little scratch here, slight blackiness may not affect the buying of the local customer. But the same banana, if you take it to a mall, if you take it to a posh locality, if you take it to a more educated market, they will differentiate between good and clean banana and a black. Though under the skin, all the bananas are same, but the cosmetic value, because people see what they like, they buy with the eyes first, and then maybe they'll use their taste buds later on. But from the market, they only use their eyes to buy. So you have to be very careful about that. That about in a nutshell sums up the different steps you can take. In a lot of these steps, they are farm management, which is important. In a lot of these steps, technology is important, and you have to have a mix of both, of how well you manage, no matter how good a crop you may grow banana, and while harvesting you don't pay attention to any of these things, you will spoil, no matter what the weight, no matter what the size of the banana. But if you cannot maintain the cosmetic purity of the end product, your 11 months, 12 months of labor will go waste. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed talk. So I'll now take up some questions. The first question is, what what modern technologies have improved banana yield and quality the most?
The yield, I think see, we've experienced this. When we initially grew banana, we were applying fertilizer purely manually. But since we started to use fertigation, whether it's done manually or fertigation done through an automated system, the result is the same. The fertigation means giving fertilizer in the right quantity at the right time. So if you can give it every fourth day, every sixth day, a small amount of fertilizer, but continuously right throughout the growing period, that affects productivity a hell of a lot. And of course, water is very important. Even giving water to the banana plants at regular interval. So not building a crisis point in the field and then you give enough water that the water goes over the nose, and then again it starts drying, again the plant goes in stress, then again you give a lot of water. That should be avoided, both with fertilizer and water. It has to be done in an intermittent way, continuously, periodically, because we noticed also, suppose you give periodically fertilizer and water to banana for, let's say, 2 months, and then for 1 month something happens, you're busy in something, and that schedule gets upset. So when you observe the banana plant, you will observe the internodes getting shorter when the crisis occurs, and as soon as you maintain a proper routine, you will see the internodes elongating. That shows that the banana is growing evenly, and as soon as you the schedule gets upset, you'll notice the difference straight away in the tree.
Okay. And how effective is tissue culture in banana farming compared to traditional methods?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
How effective is tissue culture in banana farming compared to traditional methods?
Oh, I mean, it's heaven and earth difference. I mean, that difference is too vast to even talk about it. It makes all the difference. It affects your productivity directly.
Okay. And what irrigation and fertigation systems work best for banana crops?
I mean, they're just only one system of micro irrigation where you use inline drips to provide drop by drop water to the banana plant, micro irrigation, and the fertigation is part of that. So there are many companies who are doing it. Choose your company wisely so that you get service afterwards and your system lasts. The system that we put up in our lychee orchard in 2007 is still working till date. No pipes have jammed. There's no cleaning to be done, but we follow a proper protocol for cleaning the pipes and everything. So till now, the same pipe still exists on the ground. The underground pipes have not leaked till now. 2007 means 10 and 3, 13 and 5, 18 years. So that's all because I made a good choice of company.
Okay. And which pest and disease control technologies are most reliable for, for bananas?
I think the caterpillar in the banana which starts eating the leaves, it's more younger plants are more vulnerable to it. So you have to be very vigilant initially, controlling the caterpillar in the banana plant. And at the flowering stage, it is the scarring beetle which does the most damage to banana. So I think these two are the most important as far as I have seen in my experience. These two need to be controlled.
Okay. And how can technology help in reducing post-harvest losses in banana?
See, the technology that we used in post harvesting is the dipping of the banana in a mild anti-fungal solution. And the most important part is when you cut the hand from the bunch. So a lot of milk flows from this cut part. It is translucent, transparent liquid that flows. So this has to be washed, because if you leave it on the finger of the banana hand, so it leads to scarring. So that is something which is very important. For that, you have to develop a system of a small conveyor belt or a set of tables with trying to hang the banana on a frame. So when you cut it, the hands land straight in the water. So it is washed. And then on the table on the other side, you have to have a foam on the table where the bananas are put, graded, all the damaged parts or uneven fingers, they are cut and removed, and then you pack it into a with the polythene lining in a carton, especially for banana. Or if it goes out in a crate, a lot of people demand the banana in a crate. Then, but crate may, if the transportation is for a long duration, the vibration of the vehicle and the banana moving in the crate usually ends up damaging the banana fingers that are at the bottom or on the side. So we have to be very careful about transportation, the material we are using for packing, and post harvest, if you can have a ripening chamber to even sell part of your produce. So you have to have a combination of selling them green and selling them ripened. So that enhances the value post harvest, which will give you a better profit. Any other question?
Okay. And is drip irrigation, yeah, just 2 to 3 questions. Is drip irrigation the most cost effective for banana
Is drip
cultivation
irrigation?
in Bihar condition?
Sorry, could you repeat that? Is drip irrigation? Hello, can't hear you.
You could repeat your question, sir?
I didn't get the
I'll
last question.
repeat. Is drip irrigation more cost effective for banana cultivation in Bihar conditions?
Yes, yes, any day, any day. Unquestionably, it is more cost effective. Unless you have a very small plot of land, let's say half acre or something, where I mean it doesn't take time for you to irrigate the banana. As soon as you go even over an acre and over an acre, you can't do without drip.
Okay. And what mobile apps or digital tools do you use to monitor your banana orchard?
The digital tool that we are using is CCTV cameras. We are using soil sensors. We are using other weather station type self-uploading weather stations. But the weather forecasting is not important. It is getting all the parameters: wind speed, temperature, leaf wetness, primary soil moisture, secondary soil moisture, soil temperature, ambient temperature, things like lux, wind speed, rain gauge. So the all these parameters, we have around six irrigation sensors installed in the condition of moisture in the soil every 1 hour. So it helps me take better decisions of how long should I be irrigating and when should I stop irrigating. So these tools are really very helpful. And of course, the automation part is a digital tool that we are using. That's very important because it is AI based, IoT based. But other than that, you can use all these small equipments to help you manage your farm better.
Okay. And can small farmers afford precision farming tools for bananas?
Sorry.
Can small farmers afford precision farming tools for bananas?
Yes, I mean, it would be advisable if small farmers can pull in the land together and do at least have a proper size for the farm. It will be more economical for them to do farming. Yes, all precision tools can be used by farmers. The government is also chipping in. There are a lot of NGOs which are chipping in with these soil sensors and all that. So I've heard about a village in Maharashtra where they're doing sugarcane. There are 1,000 farmers working in a cluster. I think Melinda Bill Gates Foundation and Fasal, they are sponsoring it. They have this whole huge cluster where they're using soil sensors and things like that, funded by the government and NGOs. So you can always become a part of one of these groups.
Okay. Okay. And How does technology help in deciding the right harvest time?
No, I don't think there's a technology available for doing that. It has to be visual. I mean, the most you can do is use a measuring device to measure uh, the size of the finger. So there are some stipulated grades given. So when the finger of the banana reaches such and such diameter, and you have a tool to measure it, uh, and then you can decide, okay, this banana is matured for plucking or not. Or they use this color coding. So once the flowers start coming out and the bunch is ready, and you cut the excess flower from the bottom, you give it especially if you're using a polythene bag to cover the banana, then you use color coded wires or strings which tell you that which banana had matured or flowered earlier and which later, so that at the time of cutting you don't have to remove the cover. Just by seeing the color you can know that, okay, this will mature earlier and the rest will mature as per the color coding. Other than that, I don't think it is by experience, size of the finger, which you'll come to know by yourself that, okay, now it's right for cutting. But there's no handheld device or sensor or something which you can point at the banana bunch and it'll tell you, okay, okay, it's ready to be cut.
Okay. Yeah. So we have the last question. Are there any subsidies or schemes for adopting banana farming technologies?
There are subsidies on micro irrigation. There's no subsidy on automation, at least not in Bihar. There are subsidy on banana plants for buying. Other than these two subsidies, no, I don't think they are the subsidies in banana. There are subsidies on making ripening chambers, grading, sorting platforms, cold rooms. These are the other end of the spectrum. That's post-harvest. A
Okay.
lot of governments have subsidies on this. Some have 40%, some have 50%, some have 60%. It varies across India.
Right. Okay. 1 second. Okay, sir, I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for the detailed talk and answering all the questions in detail. And I also like to thank my editorial team for sharing the questions. So we'll be ending this meeting now.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir. Thank you.